Before you edit a field or delete a property in HubSpot, you need to know exactly what is going to break. I'm Christian Bond, founder of Howly.io, and this is how to use the Impact Analyzer to test changes before they affect your live data. So let's get into it. In the floating sidebar here to the left, we have the Impact Analyzer. And what the Impact Analyzer looks at are your most used properties across your workflows in your HubSpot portal. In my portal right here, we can see that the most used properties are things like lifecycle stage, lead status, lead membership, and we can see exactly how many workflows are affected by this property. I'm going to select lead status in this example, and then we can see that there are 13 workflows affected by lead status. So we have one workflow that triggers enrollment, so we can see that it enrolls when lead status is unqualified. However, this workflow is off, so it probably doesn't impact us immediately. But then we also have some lead status workflows that modify the property. So in this case, I have a workflow called change lead status when contact fills out a form, which sets the lead status to new. Let's look into that. When I click on this workflow, I'm taken directly to it on the canvas map. From here, we can see the description. So this updates the lead status to new when a contact submits a form and their lead status is currently unknown. So this is all it does. If we want to look into this a little bit further, we can open this directly in HubSpot to confirm and see if there's anything else that we need to change here. If not, and we're happy with it, we can then say, okay, I want to set up a new workflow that includes lead status in the property. And we can see, okay, does this trigger enrollment anywhere, or does it modify the property anywhere? If not, we're probably safe to create a new workflow. We can also look at, again, I want to look at lifecycle stage here. We can see there are 20 workflows. So there are 6 workflows that trigger enrollment across lifecycle stage, the property there. Only one of them being on. So we can see that when lifecycle stage becomes evangelist, if I click in on this, okay, so this creates a follow-up task, waits a day, and then sends a welcome email. If I go back into the Impact Analyzer, we can also see that there are several workflows here that modify the property lifecycle stage. We can see here that there are some workflows that modify and sets the lifecycle stage to customer. We can see that there are some that set the lifecycle stage to marketing qualified lead. In fact, there are 2 here overlapping. So if I were to look into this a little bit further, we can see that if there are 2 workflows overlapping that are both setting the lifecycle stage to marketing qualified lead, it might create some race conditions or some duplicate actions. So definitely worth looking into. If I wanted to take this one step further, I can even create a draft workflow or a planned workflow directly on my canvas, and I can call this an MQL workflow. The object type here would be things like contact, and the enrollment could be when a contact submits a form. The action that I might be concerned with is, okay, if contact submits a form, we can then set the property to, I'm going to select lifecycle stage right here, and then choose the value as marketing qualified lead. We can see that right off the bat, there are 3 workflows that are affected when a workflow is created that sets the property lifecycle stage as MQL. 2 of them are off. So I might have to look into this one specific workflow here called last activity date MQL. And okay, we can see immediately right off the bat that this one is started when lifecycle stage is marketing qualified lead. And if I go into HubSpot here, I can get a better view of what exactly that does. So that's how you use the Impact Analyzer and the Draft Workflows tool to see exactly what's affected if you want to set up anything net new, and you can see what's impacted by certain properties across all of your HubSpot workflows if you're creating anything new or you want to change a property.